we are going back to California. I can't take it. Landlords, tenants clash after years-long eviction moratorium sunsets. Y'all already know that California been trying not to have the tenants pay any money all this time since C-19, okay? It looks like they still going along with this mess. This is a month ago. So let's see what's going on, child.
Their landlords, Alameda County courts are trying to keep up with an
Alameda
avalanche
County.
of eviction cases after a 3-year moratorium came to an end this year.
That's not
There's
enough.
concern that the wheels of justice are just moving too fast and that tenants like
Wait,
Deirdre
moving too
Ross,
fast?
who recently suffered a heart attack, aren't getting a fair shot.
They said 3 years moving too fast. What am I missing? 3 years and you didn't have to pay rent for 3 years and it's moving too fast? Child, you can't make it up. Shout out to California.
Lauren Toms has her story.
Court's overwhelmed.
Exhausting, running back and forth to do everything. But if I don't and not advocate for myself, find out what my rights are, then literally they will be able to just come and do whatever.
Deirdre Ross has lived in her Oakland apartment since 2020 and says she's consistently paid her rent on time despite being out of work for health complications from a heart attack last year. But she says she was only able to make a partial payment one month when she was sick.
It's disturbing. It's very disturbing. And everyone has a situation at some point. But when you try to reach out to your property management company, people that you have been dealing with for years, you would hope that they will work with you.
When the eviction moratorium ended in Oakland mid-April, Ross received this email advising her to work with her landlord to come up with a payment plan. But she says to this date, she's never heard back and instead...
Girl, you need to charge that phone. So let me just pause this for a second, y'all, okay? So good luck with your health, ma'am, okay? A health scare could take anybody out, okay? Regardless of what's going on, unless you ultra wealthy rich, all right? So... they said you need to work with your landlord. The landlord said, ain't got time, I want the money. And the reason that the landlord probably says it don't mean that he's wrong. You didn't pay the rent, that's the contracted amount. Then he can start proceedings for eviction. You can pay the money up until the time before the eviction if he decides to take it and then move forward. This is typically how it works. Every state can be different though, right? So he doesn't have to work it out with you or she. He or she does not have to work it out with you. You broke it when you didn't pay the whole thing. Yes, it was because you were unhealthy, but they're not trying to hear that. They in business, they need the money. And at this point, they probably could either sell it or they could get somebody in there that can pay more. Because she said she'd been there for 3 years. And I'm assuming that they didn't raise it like $500. Allegedly, I don't know. But a lot of people want to be like, oh, they should have a heart. It's not right. It's not fair. You should talk to me. They don't have to talk to you. Because if you let 1 month slide, then all of a sudden it's going to be 2 months slide and then into 3 months slide. And you can't, as a former landlord, I'm telling you, you let it slide one thing and you'll be hurting further down the road later on. And then your mess is going to be a mess while they over there still trying to give you excuses. I'm just assuming that's probably what's going on. But y'all, go ahead, girl. You need to charge that phone, though. Shoo, about to die.
Plan. But she says to this date, she's never heard back and instead received an eviction notice.
It seems...
that's you hearing back. But go ahead, girl.
Ridiculous, honestly, for property owners and landlords to take this cause of action when they can literally just sit down and have a conversation with their tenants.
And Ross...
y'all could literally sit down and have a conversation. Hear the conversation. You got the rent? No, I got this, that, and the third because of this reason. Okay, well then we're going to evict you. And then they still would be upset. I'm just saying. This
is not alone. The Alameda County Court is seeing triple their average eviction cases on any given day. Berkeley City Council member Kate Harrison says landlords have every right to pursue payments, but both parties deserve a fair day in court.
We know that it was time to allow landlords to begin again collecting rent. What's happened with the courts is that they have a backlog of cases. So, for example, last Wednesday,
y'all didn't
they had
have a backlog for a
170
while.
Unlawful detainer cases on their docket, and normally the average was about 50 before any time.
Harrison says limiting the number of cases heard each day could help struggling tenants, giving them more time to make their case in court.
So we really need to slow this down. If it takes an extra month.
Now they want to slow it down again. Y'all remember they've been slowing it and pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. And all the landlords are saying, it's not right. We can't pay. Everything's going up, but you won't make them pay. What we supposed to do? They don't give a damn. Child, California is something, child.
To hear one of these cases, but you get a fair, just result, I think it's okay.
For Ross, she's fighting her case and expects to see her day in court in the next several months.
It's uncomfortable. It's an embarrassing situation because a lot of times it's not that people are not paying their rent. You know, in my case, we're paying the majority. There was a portion short, but
then that is you not paying your rent. Don't try to come on now. Take accountability here. If you're not paying let's say it's 1,000. If you're paying 800, you're not paying the rent. What do y'all think this is going on around here? I tell you, people just don't recognize that this is a business for people. You're just supposed to just take into account everything. And some people might, okay? And some people they might talk to you. They might work it out with you. But everyone is not. Everybody ain't on that type of time. Here's what you signed. Here's what we agreed to. You didn't do it. You needed it by this time. We charging you a late fee. You're not making it up. You haven't paid it. By the end of the daggone month, you got to go. We're not wasting no time, child. We're not wasting no time. Time is precious, child. Time is precious. Shout out to Lions Pride. Thank you so much, hon. Appreciate you. Anything more than rent-free is unacceptable, child. Wrong one. You know that this is racist, though.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You know that'll come, right?
The racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Child, come on to hurt us up.
it's uncomfortable. It's an embarrassing situation because a lot of times it's not that people are not paying their rent. You know, in my case, we're paying the majority. There was a portion short, but you got to do what you have to do.
Seeking empathy at a crossroads.
You hear her, you got to do what you have to do. So not the landlord, but she got to do what she got to do. But the landlord can't do what they want to do. Child, you can't make it up.
It's between business and life.
And we did reach out to Deirdre's landlord as well as other landlord groups, but have not heard back.
Girl, because we don't want to hear from you.
But there are the landlords like John Williams. We talked to him earlier this year. He was owed $56,000 in back rent and was facing foreclosure after his tenant stopped paying rent as soon as the eviction moratorium went into effect.
It's a nightmare. It's an absolute endless nightmare where it's ridiculous that we're put in this situation for 3 years with no compensation or any kind of dialogue. How do we recapture our funds other than we have to go to court to do that or chase them or lose the money? And I think that's just really unfair burden on housing providers.
It's a difficult situation for mom and pop landlords as well as renters, and housing advocates worry things are about to get worse.
They just are thinking that things is going to get worse. Especially in California. Child,
we do not care